The Clinical and Translational Science Collaborative of Northern Ohio is a collaborative among Case Western Reserve University and its affiliated hospital systems and partners, the Cleveland Clinic, Metro Health, University Hospitals, the Louis Stokes Veterans Administration Medical Center, University of Toledo, and Northeast Ohio Medical University. We aspire to be a catalyst for high-quality clinical and translational research, both locally and nationally, by changing the culture and environment of biomedical research, sharing resources and expertise, streamlining the research process to move translational research from bench to bedside into the community. What is translation? Translation is the process of turning observations in the laboratory, clinic, and community into interventions that improve the health of individuals and the public, from diagnostics and therapeutics to medical procedures and behavioral changes. Translational science is the field of investigation focused on understanding the scientific and operational principles underlying each step of the translational process. There are 5 stages in the translational science spectrum that represent each stage of research. The 5 stages are basic research, preclinical research, clinical implementation, and public health. Central to each stage in the translational science spectrum is patient involvement, as scientists aim to develop new approaches, demonstrate their usefulness, and disseminate the findings.
When I was 14 years old, my grandmother died after a brutal battle with breast cancer. This terrible ordeal inspired me with a mission to ensure that no one died like that again and to help people be well. I'm Dr. Pamela B Davis. I was the first principal investigator of the Clinical and Translational Science Collaborative of Cleveland at Case Western Reserve University, initiated in 2007. As a physician and researcher, I've had the privilege of developing and then moving to clinical testing new treatments for a fatal genetic disease, cystic fibrosis. The steps in the laboratory are just the beginning of a long and careful development process that can make a difference for human beings. Serving patients with cystic fibrosis, one of the most prevalent chronic lung diseases in children and young adults, gave me a real scientific challenge. Although CF does not have a cure, research, especially the clinical trials that confirm the laboratory successes, has provided much longer and better life for these patients. This effort consumed the earlier part of my career, and after hiatus in administrative roles, I returned to research to explore large electronic health databases to gain insights into clinical problems, especially the interactions between infections such as COVID and chronic diseases. So, from cystic fibrosis basic research to exploring informatics applications in large populations, I've seen the translational science spectrum in action for decades. Our CTSC has provided infrastructure support in informatics and clinical trials to researchers in many areas, supported early career researchers through training programs and pilot awards, and facilitated citywide interactions. True to our name, collaboration is the order of the day in clinical and translational research and education. I've spent my entire career in the care and research of patients with cystic fibrosis.
It was during my undergraduate years at Case Western Reserve University in the mid-1970s, while volunteering at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, an ward full of children with cystic fibrosis, many of whom eventually died as teenagers, that I decided I wanted to be a part of the effort that would help find new treatments and a cure for this dreadful disease. A long training period led to my becoming a pediatric pulmonologist with a career devoted to CF care and research. Fast forward 35 years, and I find myself proud yet humbled to have been a part of the local and global effort that has more than tripled the lifespan of children and young adults with cystic fibrosis. I'm Dr. Michael Konstan, and I served as the principal investigator of the Clinical and Translational Science Collaborative from 2015 to 2022. My career as a physician scientist involved many aspects of clinical and translational research. Bringing a new therapeutic to fruition for any disease is a long and arduous journey and requires strong and effective collaboration among investigators, funders, industry, regulatory agencies, and even patients. For many people with health conditions, the process takes too long to be of benefit. Fortunate to have experienced every aspect of translational and clinical research for cystic fibrosis, from being part of a basic science laboratory all the way to leading international phase 3 clinical trials, I was primed to serve as the PI of the CTSC with the ultimate goal of helping to streamline the translational research process to bring more therapies to more people more quickly. Our commitment to improving health in our region and nationally is evident in the dedication that our researchers, study teams, and communities show every day.
Infectious diseases aren't exactly a topic of choice at the dinner table, but I've been treating patients with infectious diseases, specifically HIV, and conducting HIV research nationally and internationally for decades. My most recent plunge into the waters of uncertainty in the midst of a public health crisis was with COVID-19, where I, like many HIV researchers, led clinical trials to help answer lots of unanswered questions with urgency, efficacy, while trying to safeguard the safety of myself and the research staff. I'm Dr. Grace McComsey, and I became principal investigator of the CTSC in 2022. Met with the opportunity to address the lack of diversity in clinical research and prioritize diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility throughout the breadth of the CTSC's research, CTSC's resources, services, education, and training programs. I'm excited to be at the helm of our hub as we strive to meet the needs of our community. Our goal is to move from discussion about health disparities to action toward advancing health equity through research and ultimately translation.
The CTSC is funded through the Clinical and Translational Science Award, a national consortium out of the National Institutes of Health, National Center for Advancing Translational Sciences. Together, we are transforming how clinical and translational research is conducted. For more information, visit us online.